So good morning to everyone. Today's class we are going to see the different desired attributes of engineers. So what are the desired attributes of an engineer? We all know that engineers are basically inventors. They are also designers, they are analyzers and they are builders of modern age. How? Because it can create machines, structures and systems we use on a daily basis. Now think of any one equipment that you are using on a daily basis. Say for example mobile phone. Okay. Who has made the mobile phone? The mobile phones are basically designed by using engineers only. So engineers are the people who are designing the machines and systems that we use on a daily basis. The things that engineers must take into account while designing is constraints of physics, confines of manufacturing technologies in the modern age, limitations imposed by current material properties and requirement in terms of health, safety and cost. These are some of the constraints or some of the things that engineers have to take into account while designing. Now, engineers are trained to recognize and solve all of the above stated problems and they have a very particular set of skills acquired over a long career, skills that make engineers a nightmare for anything these uh, problems might throw at them. Okay. So now let us start with what are the desired attributes or what are the characteristics that an engineer must have in order to become successful in his or her career. These are some of the things that we will be discussing in today's class. So the first aspect and foremost aspect that an engineer should have is definitely teamwork. So teamwork drives the successful completion of a project. Now we cannot complete a project on our own. Every person requires or they need others in their team to contribute. So courtesy and tact are very important to build trust, and trust is the most important element required in a teamwork. Now project details are often presented to managers and customers. So as a team the engineer will present to the customers or to the managers, and these interactions will become confrontational. That is, definitely questions will be asked and answers have to be given. Now in confrontation the engineer should understand everybody's position. If a customer is planning to buy our product, it is very important that we explain the product and we answer all their queries. So when a query is asked, it is important that an engineer doesn't feel attacked. So if he feels attacked, it will become like a war of words and it will not be good. So they have to keep the team members informed and present the facts. Whatever is asked at the other end by the customer or the manager, instead of trying to attack them back, they have to defend their claim. Whatever product we are making as an engineer, as a team, he or she must take all the inputs from the team and must be able to defend and make the opposite party understand the need for the product so that they will buy. So this is an important aspect of teamwork. And the next important aspect is, as we see, continuous learning. So technology and methodology, we all know it is changing. So earlier we were using 2G, then 3G, 4G, 5G. Now we are moving towards 6G. Okay. So technology and methodology are changing. So for a successful engineer, it is very important that he must be aware of the latest technological work and he must be able to deliver the best value and quality work. Now, engineers are by nature, it is known that engineers are curious and interested in understanding how things work. This gives them natural aptitude for learning and allows them to continue building their knowledge. Now, in modern times, technology is changing very quickly. This is something that we have to remember. So, it is very important that engineers really stay updated and they keep learning new technologies. Once an engineer takes up a job, whatever profession it is, he or she must be prepared to learn. That is, lifelong learning must be one of the aspects or very important attribute of an engineer. An engineer cannot think that, okay, I know everything, I need not learn. So that should not be the attitude of an engineer. So creativity is another important aspect of an engineer. Creativity means thinking outside of the box. The engineering industry runs on the ability of creativity to solve problems. So the most important aspect of an engineer is creativity. Creative and innovative solutions is what is required. What is already existing has to be modified in a creative way. So engineers are able to bring passion, creative solutions and big ideas to the table and efficiently resolve problems or existing method they can improves the efficiency. Simultaneously, an engineer needs to be attentive to practicality when proposing a creative solutions. They cannot provide a creative solution which is not useful or which is useless, which cannot be practically feasible. So when a creative solution is proposed, it should be practically feasible. The next aspect of an engineer is problem solving. So engineer must be able to identify the problem, define, explore the solution, take action, look back and check whether it is solved. So an engineer must be able to address the problems as they rise. They must study the problem, understand the impact it has on the project and then apply their analytical skills in order to identify the root cause. And they should effectively solve problems and have the ability to listen to the problem owner. By attentively listening, an engineer is able to fully comprehend what the problem consists of and provide solution from a well-informed standpoint. So another important aspect that an engineer should definitely have is the analytical skill. So what is the analytical skill? It is the ability to solve problem goes hand in hand with the ability to analyze problems. So analytical skill means you must be properly able to analyze the problem. So engineers are required to think analytically in order to create solution. Analyzing a project scope or project specification ensures that engineer fully understands the requirement and applies resources to achieve the optimal outcome. That is, he needs to analyze the situation. What kind of solution is required in which situation, in a particular geographical location, which kind of product is required. So if we give a product which is not feasible or which doesn't suit to a particular geographical location, or if we provide as an engineer, if we provide a solution that is not feasible in a particular place, then it is of no use. That is, we will end up in a loss. So it is necessary to analyze the situation, analyze the geographical location and other things before designing the product. And then the next most important thing is communication skills. So communications means we will think that oh, I am able to read properly, write, speak and listen a particular language, or I know 5 different languages. That is not communication skills. It is a part of communication skill. Communication skill means the engineer, he or she must be able to communicate properly, or how do I say, is able to tell or make a person understand what he or she is doing or what he or she intends to do. That is, to the manager, he or she has to talk in a different way. To the customer, they have to talk in a different way. To the end user, we have to talk in a different way. To my superior, I can explain in a technical way, whereas to the end user, if I keep talking in a technical way, it will end up in non-understanding. The person will not understand enough to buy a product. So that is important. They should communicate because they are communicating with people at different level. Similarly to workers also we have to communicate, and also we are communicating to the directors. And at the same time we have to talk, or we have to communicate in a clear way, concise, precise, accurate, and at the same time the tone has to be very respectful so that the message is conveyed properly. So the next important attribute is logical thinking. To fully comprehend complex systems, engineer must understand every aspect of the system. So he or she must know how the system works, and we must first of all list down how things can go wrong. And if this, make a list, see if this problem happens, say for example I'm working in a project, so if there is a failure in the hardware, which particular IC might get damaged, which particular component might get damaged, and how do I fix it? So if there is a software failure, how do I fix it? In that way, we have to think logically. It is not negative thinking, it is logical and practical thinking, and evaluate each element. So successful engineers, as we have seen, they are curious and they have they are able to analyze the existing system and understand how different pieces work individually and as a unit. So we must be able to understand that each and every component in our product, how it works individually, what is its tolerance level, at what temperature it will sustain, which kind of temperature, which kind of temperature it will not sustain. So what is the solution to make it sustain a particular temperature, say a very hot climate, a very cold climate, in order to make it sustain those temperatures, what has to be done. These are the things that contribute to logical thinking, which an engineer, along with curiosity, he or she must also possess logical thinking. Now, the next one is attention to detail. Engineers need to pay attention to smallest of detail. They should understand that slightest error may cause the system to fail, software to glitch, and smallest error can cost a significant amount of money and can be fatal also. Say for example, in construction, civil engineers or mechanical engineers, even electrical engineers, when we are designing equipments, products, we should be aware where it can go wrong. We cannot leave one one grounding if we forget. Also, what will happen, there will be a total short, and that will lead to shock, electric shock, and that might lead to some fatal results. So we have to check even the minutest of minute detail before we complete a project. So complex projects may have large number of steps to complete, and having one tiny thing out of place will cause a delay to the entire project. So detail orientation during planning and development phases is required, mandatory, and successful engineers know that their success depends on the ability to control the details. So unless we have a knowledge, or unless we pay attention to the detail, it is very important to control the details. So we should do all that. So as we all know that maths is important for an engineer. This has been told to us several times, right from your lower classes. You would have been told that an engineer must have mathematical ability. So it is true. Now software has replaced all complex derivations that engineers used to do. Now, say for example, if I am using as an electronics engineer, if I am using a MATLAB. So MATLAB, it is a computer. It is a how do we say, it is like a calculator. It can do all calculations, it can perform even complex calculations. But if I do not know how it is performing, what it is doing, this calculation or the output will look like a magic to me. I will not be able to analyze the system. I will not be able to model the system and say that how it works. So engineers must be well versed definitely in trigonometry, calculus, if we want to use all the software packages and interpret the results. This is more important. Otherwise, I will know that the system is working good, this prototype is working good, but how is it working good? Just if I write a code, if I simulate it, it is performing well, but how does is it perform? Maybe the correlation is better. Maybe the eigenvalues are in a particular mode so that all the elements are moving in a particular direction. These are some of the things that we must know. They must understand what kind of calculations are required, and that the model is correctly defined when performing simulation. Last but not the least, an engineer must be a leader. Now we cannot say that okay, an engineer cannot lead a team, an engineer need not lead a team. That cannot be said. So as a leader, they must have excellent interpersonal skill, and they should be able to inspire and motivate others. Motivation in a project, in a team work, is the most important aspect, and they need to have good soft skills, and they must also perform non-technical duty. They should not irritate the team members. So it is important for a leader to extract the maximum ability of each and every member in a team. If the team comprises of mm, engineers, we know that all of them have different capabilities. So as a leader, he or she must be able to extract, or he or she must be able to utilize the maximum capacity. So they have to be charismatic, articulate, and friendly, and well liked, and able to garner support. So without support, an engineer cannot exist, cannot work in a society. So these are some of the attributes, 10 attributes of an engineer, which an engineer must possess. So you as students, now because you are in first year, some of you may be having these skills, some of you may not be having these skills. So it is very important for you to develop all these 10 skills, so that you will become a very successful engineer in future. Thank you for now. We'll meet in the next class.